continue this old class Kosher kitchen, but first we're going to finish Halachos of 3 weeks that we started yesterday. We start with Sefer Chofetz Chaim, and big topic is the same, to us for subject's benefit, meaning for we're speaking for the benefit of the person who we're speaking about, to help him. So today's topic is social pressure. So rebel due to temptation is someone who regularly submits to temptation and violates specific mitzvah. So meaning even it's a small mitzvah, whatever mitzvah, but person has physical temptations. Okay, but it's small. It's not big. Okay. While the prohibition against gossip monger does apply with regard to the speaking about him, as he is not heretic, this situation differs drastically from one who occasionally transgresses a given mitzvah, but basically is committed to its observance. Okay, so it's very important difference, halachic difference. So one more time, rebel due to the temptation. So the person, the person is doing something not because he's against HaShem, right? But because he cannot withstand his temptation, let's say it's not kosher. Okay. So one more time, rebel due to temptation is someone who regularly submits to his temptation in violation to specific mitzvah. So it's not in everything, but wherever it is. Right? While the prohibition against gossip monger does apply, gossip mongering does apply with regard to speaking about him. So because he's not a heretic, right? He's only in this weak in this area. As he is not a heretic, the situation differs drastically from one who occasionally transgresses a given mitzvah, but basically is committed to its observance. Okay, so if it's only from time to time, or a person does it continually. Okay, as we have learned, the primary prohibition of against speaking lashon hara is do not go as a gossip monger and against your people, right? Amisecha, right? As it says, Vayikra. It's not Amisecha. Be'amcho. Vayikra 19:16. So against do not go as a gossip monger and not among your people. One who embarrasses his fellow Jew, transgressing the prohibition, and man shall not be aggrieved. Man should not aggrieve his fellow. So okay, so I mean he's building up the case. So one thing is we cannot speak lashon hara about someone who is part of your nation. So if a person transgresses only when some sins in occasionally, so here they're sinners, but still part of the nation. Okay, that's one case. Second thing that we just said, somebody who embarrasses his fellow Jew transgresses the prohibition, and man shall not aggrieve his fellow. Vayikra 25:17, and we learned before meaning in these words. So aggrieve like in all other areas too, like, right? But with words especially. Okay. I would suggest interpret the Torah, the Torah amcho, right? Your people. In the first prohibition, excluded only a rebel whose intent is to spite. So in the first thing, when you say do not speak this lashon hara about your people. So if somebody does it dafka to anger God, and then he said I do not care. So he's basically he excludes himself from this from your nation, and we're allowed to speak, and sometimes we're obligated to speak about bad about this person. One who lacks the regard to given prohibition causes him to regularly transgress it. Right? Meaning that he basically, that person, maybe it started with temptation, but it finished that he actually put this mitzvah, like cross it out from the Torah. That's for sure. That's how he's acting. However, the term his fellow in the second prohibition includes even this person who rebels on purpose. Thus, it is forbidden to speak lashon hara about this mumar, the guy who rebelled against the rebel due to the temptation. That's translation. But it is permissible exert a social pressure on him in order to induce him to mend his sinful ways. So what does it mean? On one hand, so I mean he built up the case, right? So that's what I said. Two separate verses, they had to come together, right? On one hand, this guy is still part of the nations. On another hand, it says different verse, do not embarrass, aggrieve another. But in another verse said that you have to, not verse, but halacha is that we have to help him. How do we help him? So he stop sinning. How he would stop sinning if we apply social pressure. Social pressure, I'm not sure today how is it applied. Today is not so easy. As I said many times, today is not easy because many of us some of us live in a place where there are many shows, so many communities. They embarrass him in this community, he goes to a different community, or they did not like him here. So, and there are some schools that just need people. They would accept any low life, basically, unfortunately. But in olden days, it was not so simple. So you have one shul in the city, main synagogue, huge one, right? So everybody would come there. So if you bend from the community, you're out. So that's people were scared about it, and that's why social pressure worked very well. So everybody knows you. Nobody's going to marry children. Nobody's going to do business with you. Nobody's going to hire you as a worker or buy from you if you have a store. So social pressure was a big deal. Today, not so much, unfortunately. Continuation, page 407. Continue. It is permissible to publicize that the Jew regularly violates a particular halacha if it is clear that he is aware of the halacha and has chosen to ignore it. Of course, as we said before many times, you have to come and tell him, look, Mr. Jew, that's what you do. It's not proper. He's a halacha. That's what it says. But he chose to ignore it. Yeah, so you can embarrass him in public. And it stands to reason that the publicizing his behavior will induce him to change, right? So it helps him to change. For example, somebody is talking in a show. Of course, he knows that you're not allowed to talk to him. You shush him once, twice, so you can embarrass him. This applies even if he transgresses the law out of the temptation. Okay, temptation, but you told him, look, you're going against HaShem, and you're hurting not only yourself, but all other people around you. Okay. However, one must be certain that all the condition of Ta'elas, constructive speech, including purity of intent and lack of alternative, apply. Right? Including purity of intent and lack of alternative, meaning that you try other avenues, as we said before. So it should be last thing that you do if you don't have any other choices. We stop here. Okay, so we continue this chapter 5, and the topic is precautionary prohibitions. Okay, so we're on part B. It says separations of meat and dairy utensils. Okay. Number 1, tablecloth. One may not eat dairy on a fabric tablecloth used for meal meat, or the reverse, since the meat residue remains on the cloth, may touch the dairy food. Although some have a commendable practice to settle aside two separate, setting aside two separate tablecloths, one for meat and one for dairy, it is halachically accepted to use one tablecloth or both if it is thoroughly washed between uses. Common practice is not to eat meat and dairy at the same table on a plastic tablecloth surface. Okay, so let's try to understand. So we're going into precautionary prohibitions. So it's not eating, for sure it's not eating meat and milk together, right? But some residue, so of course it's the ratio is less than 60. There is no question about it. And maybe it's this residue dried long time ago, like after a few hours, let's say it's hot, this and that, so it's spoiled already, let's say, right? But still, about tablecloth, they say have two separate tablecloths if you eat so much daily, for example, right? Or if you use one tablecloth, so you make sure that you wash. I think it's cheaper to have two of them than wash after each meal, between the meals. Okay. So, and the plastic tablecloth also a problem, because usually people don't change the plastic tablecloth very often, and they would eat meat and dairy on top of the same tablecloth, and they would put a piece of bread or something on the table, and it can get the residue from opposite food. Okay, so number 2, salt dish. Before the advent of the salt shakers, food was usually dipped into the salt dish on a table. The custom was to keep separate salt dishes for meat and dairy, since food's residue often remains in the salt. This reason does not apply to the salt shakers. Therefore, one may use the same salt shaker for meat and dairy. However, since the salt shaker may touch the food, or one may have food residue on his hands when he grabs the shaker, common practice to use separate meat and dairy salt shakers. This is certainly commendable in a household with small children. So let's see. So sometimes they sell in the store this salt dish. Even a Judaica store. So I saw it, but I never understood why. Just because when you eat, you need to dip challah, you would have this salt dish. I mean, it's like waste of time, money, everything. But it's very interesting, right? So it's actually from the olden days. They did not have a salt shaker, so everybody would dip. Like whatever you eat food, so if you need more salt, you would dip there. It's very interesting. All of the, I guess, vegetables, right? And based on this in meat and other things, so you would have a residue for sure. That's in this case for sure you would have residue in this salt dish. So in this case for sure you need two salt dishes, one for dairy, one for meat. But today we say now that about the salt shaker. Salt shaker, if you use it for some dry foods, right, and not too hot. It's not like hot. I mean, if it's not steaming. If it's steaming, there is a problem, right? So if you want to put some salt in your soup that you're cooking, that's a big problem, because the vapors are going up and they are going to reside on your salt shaker. That's a problem. So you can. For sure, you must have two, or do it through the spoon, like to pour some salt in a spoon or in a hand, and then put it in a pot, but not through the salt shaker, or have two sets. Okay, that's for sure. Okay, and here they say, of course, make sure that your hands are clean. If you if your hands dirty with residue from the food that you eat, of course you're going to touch salt shaker. It's going to be like have a meat residue, or you eat something with a butter or whatever is it, right? So that would be an issue. So have two sets. When pouring salt into the steaming meat or dairy pot, exactly as we said, one should avoid holding the salt container over the pot. Okay, he gives a different solution. One should pour salt into the hand, or pour it into, and then put it in the pot. Yes. So okay. Yeah, exactly as we said. So don't don't hold this salt shaker like above the pot because of all of the vapors, but put it on your hand, on a spoon or whatever you want, and then put it into the pot. That's a common solution. Number 3, tableware. All flatware, ladles, spatulas, dishes, pots, and pans used for meat food should be conspicuously different than those used for daily. So, and I always say, like in olden days, I don't know, not very old days, but I was like 30 years ago, 40 years ago, everything was the same. It was stainless steel, or if it had this handle, it would be black. Period. Sometimes you have white handle, but it's like it was unbelievable. Then later on, maybe I don't know, like 20 years ago, I don't know how many years ago, they have this. They invented this spray paint, like a good quality that actually sticks to plastic. So we had to like spray paint. We still have these scissors, like knives. So you buy a set of knives, right? Many knives, and then you paint the handles for some knives, like Beezrat, so you know it's meat, or others we would spray paint with the white. So I mean it's for daily, but today they come with all of the colors, so it's like it's impossible to make a mistake. I mean, unless you want it. So that's what he said. So they should be conspicuously different, like for this flatware should be like look totally separate, totally different between the dairy and the meat. Use of similar utensils. So I mean, with knife, as I said, with knife, if you see like red handle, so you know it's for meat. For example, that's what we do, right? So that's the thing. So you can buy it today. There are many of them made with red handles. There is no problem. All the spoons, like serving spoons with like completely red from plastic. Today is no problem, but some years ago it was a big deal. I'm not sure why was the case, but that was the case. Continue. Use of similar utensil for both for both is confusing and likely to cause meat utensil to be used for the dairy and reverse. So I guarantee, not likely, I would say 100% guarantee. Similar utensil may be used if one type is clearly marked. Okay, so as we said, these knives. So in like I don't need to buy the whole set of knives. So one knife, so it's cheaper many times just buy the whole set of knives. It would be cheaper than to buy 3 knives. You buy 12 knives, or you buy 3 knives. It's sometimes it's exactly the same price. So I prefer to buy 12, and some of them are used for dairy. Like for dairy, maybe I need 1 knife or 2 knives. Maybe for meat, I need another 3 knives, and then the rest for parv. Okay. This may be done with inedible paint, right, or an indentation on a metal inside. I'm not sure how this indentation worked, but as we said, in olden days it was very hard to do all of this. One may mark either the metal or I'm sorry. One may mark either meat or dairy utensil or both. The custom, however, is to mark dairy dishes or both. Okay, so meaning okay, so he's saying to mark it as we said, with the paint, with other things to make it different, right? So and the custom is to, if you're not going to do mark 2 of them, so at least do dairy, because it's like the way I understand, right? That's my explanation, personal explanation, because there is less work to do, right? There is always less dairy utensil than meat or parv. Okay. Next one, number 4, ketchup and mustard. It is common to use a separate ketchup and mustard containers for meat and dairy. So, but again, if you use it for something like hot, right? So, but if you do, so you of course you have to use it 2 separate containers. One who wishes to use only 1 container. 1 second. Should preferably use a squeeze type bottle. One should not pour the ketchup from the bottle directly into steaming pot. So steaming pot is never allowed. Why? Because of this residue, right? So let's see this squeezing bottle type. Commentators say the fact that the flow of the ketchup connects the bottle to the food is of no concern. The most serious concern is the bottle spout may touch the food in a plate. Okay, so they talking about these glass containers. I'm not sure. I haven't seen glass containers for ketchup for a very long time. It's same. I mean, everybody does plastic. It's lighter. It's cheaper. Stuff like that. So okay. So again, if you squeeze, if you have only 1 ketchup, let's say, don't squeeze directly on hot food. Okay, continue. Next one is practical summary. One should not cut cheese with a meat knife or meat with a dairy knife. So of course we're talking about clean knife that even 24 hours okay, so that's not allowed. One may not even cut bread for dairy for dairy meal with a meat knife, or the reverse, unless he does neitzah beforehand, meaning as we said before, sticking into the ground. Okay. It is preferable to keep separate part of bread knife. So I mean, in general, as we said before, it's in general proper to have more part of knives for bread, for vegetables, for fish, and other things, for fruits. It is important to have an assortment of good sharp part of knives. Okay, exactly. Okay. One may not eat dairy on a fabric tablecloth that was used for a meat meal, or the reverse, because fabric has like pores, and it's going to get absorbed. The tablecloth should be thoroughly washed between the uses. Some have a custom of using separate tablecloths, one for meat and one for dairy. Again, if you have a small children, yeah, they eat a lot of dairy, so that's what you need to do. Okay. Common practice is to use the separate meat and dairy salt shakers. It is a common place to use a separate ketchup and mustard container for meat and dairy. So I mean, if you eat so much or else you can squeeze on an empty plate. Okay, empty plate, put it back in the refrigerator and eat as much as you want. Okay. Continue. All flatware and the dishes and pots used for meat food should be conspicuously different from those used for dairy. So different if those are square, not square, round, those should be square. So today, I mean, in olden days, to have a square, like a plate, it was unbelievable. Today they have a triangle. I don't know, I haven't seen triangle, but square they do have, and rectangular, right? So that's not a problem today. So totally different, different enough so you would see of course you're not going to paint plates, but you see clearly that this is my meat plate and this is my dairy plate. If the utensils are similar, one should make distinctive mark, preferably on a dairy utensil. So do it on both, I would say, but if you have no times, no meats, at least do on dairy. Okay, so this sprayed paint, if you buy, we bought one, red one, many years ago. It's still it's still working and it's still there. So we paint many things. Like only handle that's all you need, only handle. So good quality. Okay. Continue. One should not pour salt or ketchup from container directly in a steaming pot. Okay, we understand that you would not be able to use it for opposite for meat or dairy. Okay. Any questions on what we said? Before we continue. Okay, no questions. Okay. So continue. Section C. Food used with one type. Foods used with one type. So if somebody is following page 144. Number one, bread remaining after the meal or dairy meals. Okay, remaining bread. Okay. Bread about the use in the course of the meat meal should not be eaten with a dairy or the reverse. It's actually from Shulchan Aruch Yoredia 89.4. Right? It's understandable because even person touched, let's say he was eating meat with his hand, chicken, let's say he touched chicken, and now he collects before the eating, before the washing the hands, he would collect bread and put in some container. Of course, the bread was touched with the hands, the meaty. That's a problem. Bread is often handled during the meal, and perhaps some meat residue adhere to the bread. Okay, so it's not like he did not finish bread, but even after finish eating, she was cleaning up. Thus, the housewife who makes challah kugel from the leftover on Shabbos challah may not use this kugel for a daily meal. Similarly, the leftover challah may not be used for a daily seuda shlishis, or to make French toast with butter. Okay, so what? First of all, we saying that she has a part of she had a part of stove, right? That's for beginners, right? So she has a part of stove. So her challah technically is parav, so challah is parav. So but they use this challah during the Shabbos meal, meaning what that during the meat meal, right? And we are not allowed. Of course, there is almost always leftover of this challah, so not allowed to use it for a daily meal. So as I said, in my house, like we have only one stove, it's meat, so it's very simple. So our bread is not parav. So we know not to eat bread with dairy, never ever, unless there is a special we're doing what is it called pita bread. So pita bread we do it on a frying pan, which is parav, and that's how we have parav bread. So if somebody wants to eat parav bread, no problem, eat pita bread. Okay, but not challah. Okay, but this lady had part of stove, right? But this challah was used during the meat meal, so we're not allowed to use it for a daily meal, right? Similarly, the leftover challah may not be used for a daily seuda shlish. I never heard of daily seuda shlishis, but technically, if you think about it, there is no problem whatsoever. In the summer, no problem whatsoever. You wait 6 hours, you finish, let's say, I'm not sure how is it no problems. I mean, if you pray earlier, let's say, and let's say you finish at 10, so let's say you ate your meal at 10, 11, so yeah, 5, 6 you can have your seuda shlishi with daily. There is no problem. Okay. Right, or to make French toast with butter. Why? Because as we said before, this challah was used for a bread meal. Again, we're talking about precautions. There is no mixture. There is might be some issue, but maybe no. But we're trying to stay on the safe side. This refers only to the slices, to the sliced challah. To the sliced challah. The challah loaf itself usually not touched and may be used for daily meals. So, for example, my example would be like a person has two loaves. We need to make blessing on 2 loaves, lechem mishnah, during the Shabbos meals, right? And one was used for the meal, but only as a second loaf, so it was there on the board, so nobody ever used it. So this one you can use for daily. That nobody cut it. Okay. If children do in fact touch the loaf, it must be treated as a sliced challah. So meaning the children, they don't not so careful with washing their hands. So we assume that they touch it with dirty hands. Okay, with the meat hands. Sliced challah. If all of the family freely touched all of the challah, it would be wise to keep the challah off the table and fill the bread basket if needed. So it's very interesting. If all of the family freely touch all of the challah, so they say, okay, so here's the solution. We said the blessing on 2 challahs, right? And right away take 1 challah off the table, put it away, right? So of course it's still part of, let's say, in their situation, and right, and if needed, so you can cut somewhere else and give out from that challah as well, and that challah would be part of, or cut it, distribute among other people. Let's say it's a huge challah, you want for sure you're going to have half left, so don't put it on the table because people are going to touch it. Put it off the table, right? Someone on the counter, somewhere covered, and then cut more if needed. That's it. So whatever is left over is going to be like safe to consider to be part of. Continue. Number 2, other foods eaten with a meat meal. Other foods. Poskim advise that one not eat any food remaining from the meat meal. For example, salads with a daily meal, or the reverse. So I would say, so it's very interesting. With us, we always make salads, like prepare the bowl of salads only in a pot, always. So and then you have a pot of spoon, and then you can eat. So you take this pot of spoon, you put the salad in your dish, and in this case there is no problem. You can eat it with meat and daily with whatever you want, right? But they said that this salad was on a table somehow, so that would be an issue. Okay. So one more time, Poskim advise that one not eat any food remaining from the meat meal, for example salads, with a daily meal, or the reverse. After the spoon used to serve the salad touched the meat, or subsequently replaced subsequently replaced into the salad. So I guess if only in some family when everybody like go with their own spoon into the salad or something like that, of course it's not proper, so don't do it. So because maybe in your family it's normal, but the guest would not find it very, very pleasant, right? So there was one person, and that long time ago. So we invited him to come for Shabbos Friday night, and he was hesitant, this and that, and he said, no, you're a good guy, I might come, but I have one request. I said, okay, so what is the request? I'm not going to drink after you. So, well, why do you have to drink after me? So, and he said a long time ago, he was in a college, right, and they invited to this Chabadniks, and they all drank from the same cup. So it was one family. There is no problem. They enjoyed it. It's the highest blessing, right, to drink. And they passed him the cup. He said, when I realized that the cup is going in my direction, I was about to vomit. Like I did not want to drink after all the kids, after husband and wife and this and that. So he said, because of that stupidity, of course. I mean, these people, I don't know what was they thinking. So he said, because of this, so I would not go like to anybody's house for Friday night. That's, I mean, for me, it's craziness. So if you have a little sensitivity as a host, So of course you're not never going to do this. So you pour a little. So before you start drinking from your cup, you pour a little into any cup, right? Then the cup, you finish drinking whatever you drink. Then from that cup you can distribute to everybody. Your wife like to drink from your cup. Let's say you're allowed to pass. There is no problem. Pour more wine into your cup. Send it to your wife. Send it to your kids. But to the guest, have some mercy on the guest. Give them separate, but tell them before they went that you're going to give them separate wine. So otherwise, like this poor guy. I mean, I don't know how true the story is, but whatever. I mean, sounds true to me. Like that he was. He did not feel well. So we have to take into consideration that people would not like us too much when we go with our fork, with our spoon into the serving dish. That's not proper. Continue. Practical summary. Sliced bread remaining from the meat meal may not be eaten with a daily. Okay, and vice versa, as we said before. However, if the bread is not sliced, it may be eaten even with a dairy if it was not touched by children, of course, of the meal. Okay, so if you cut whatever you need to eat, and the rest you put it in a container, in a bag, whatever, outside on the counter, so there is no problem. So meaning nobody touched it. But if somebody touched during the meal, so for sure, that's it. Continue. It is preferable not to eat any food remaining from the meat meal, for example, salad with a dairy meal. Okay, so we can stop here. HaShem. So we got to the next section, the prohibition of daily breads. So you have to make it in a separate like form, so nobody would make a mistake. So Shulchan says clearly it's forbidden to make a daily bread, right? Because most of the meals were with meat. But in the olden days in Europe, when people were very poor, people did not eat meat. Many of them did not even eat meat on Shabbos, so only on holidays or something, right? So for them, daily was normal, so they would have daily bread. Okay, no problem. So any questions on any topic? Yes, go ahead.
So what about if we use like tablecloth for dairy, and then for meat we use we just take it off and we just use like the bare surface of the table, like no tablecloth for meat. Is that problematic?
No, it's not problematic. It's not a problem. No. So of course, the problematic is to use the same. But after you finish, let's say you use your bare table surface, there is no problem. Let's say it's made of formica, there is no problem. But you will have to wash it with a soap. So meaning, what does it mean with the soap? That means that if it was some residue, it's spoiled. So it's not meat. Even if you did not wipe it completely, so it's not good basically. So it's not considered to be meat, or it's not considered to be daily. So that's the thing. Okay. Any other questions? Any topic?
Yes, Rabbi, I have a question. I can't remember. Do you wait 24 hours before you kosher an oven, or you kosher the oven and then wait 24 hours?
No. Okay, we always wait. So the procedure is always wait. So even if after you wash it, so because even still there is a taste absorbed into the walls, whether it's stove or pot, it doesn't make any difference. So it would spoil. So it would not be considered a taste. You understand? So since it is porous, so these metals, they're porous. So you wash with a sponge, of course, with a soap, but it's only on the surface. But inside it is it's actually the taste of the meat. And I see we have I said the story again before. I have this big pot for Kashering other parts. So we lend other people to do the mitzvah. It's easy mitzvah. We bought it once. Many years ago, we still benefit from that mitzvah. We have a special, like, I don't know, what was that? Not tweezers, whatever these things to take it out. It's special, like with the long handles, with wood on the top of the handle because it's hot. It's boiling hot. So and like when people return to us, the pot, of course, they try to wash it, of course, but it's like so black you do not understand. It's how black this residue is after the clean pot. Why? Because all of the things that were absorbed into the walls, very black. Of course, I mean we wash it like with a baking soda, with other chemicals, so it washes off. But it's not so simple. It's not. Right, so that's why we need to wait 24 hours.
Oh, okay. So we wait 24 hours and then kosher in the oven after we clean it, of course.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Clean. It's the same procedure with the utensil and oven. The same procedure. You clean, you wait, and then you kosher. So the kosher the oven. It's not a big deal if you have a more modern one. So if it has a self-cleaning cycle, you just put on self-cleaning cycle. Of course, turn off your smoke detectors, right? Because open your windows or something like. If you can go out or like go into a different room, that's what you should do because it's going to smell bad. And even if you have a clean stove, because all of the residue, as we said, they absorbed into the walls. So now it's going to get burned from this huge temperature. So some people even say that you're not obligated even to wait because you're going to burn, but we're trying to follow like strict Halachah. Wait anyway and then burn. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
You're welcome. Good questions. Any other questions?
Rabbi?
Yes, go ahead.
So during Tisha B'Av, do like prosecuting angels or the Shadim in general have like special permission from HaShem to go full force against both Jews and non-Jews?
I mean, you mean right nowadays? That's the question.
Yeah, I mean, generally speaking, like.
Yes, so it's actually okay. That's a good question. It's actually yes. So it's a bad time. So it's sometimes a good time for a Jew. So it says when the month of Adar comes in. So you start if you have a delegation with a non-Jew, take him to court in that month, right? It's because it's luck is on the highest. But when months of Av comes in when this not Av but when these 3 weeks, so we go on low. So we tried, as we said, postpone all of these surgeries because even though it's like a relatively innocent surgery, it can go bad because of this period of time, and same with all other things. So with dangers, right? So all other things of the danger, so we're trying to avoid the danger. Like the whole year you can do, but during these 3 weeks we're trying to avoid because of because of the prosecutors have a special time, right? So they were allowed to do it back then, and our calendar is not straight line as with other nations. So our calendar is actually circle. And that's why our sages say, so if the same energy exists as it existed originally at that time of the event, what does it mean? So in the Exodus of Egypt, so on the 14th of Nisan, right, on the Pesach. So if you tune yourself, you would feel that energy because this energy is there. Exactly, this spirituality is there, It's like my example would be like a radio. So just because your radio is off does not mean there is no broadcasting. There is a broadcasting. The problem is you have a tiny radio, but you need a bigger antenna or something, or a stronger radio to get to these waves, or you don't know the frequencies. You understand? So that's the same with Tisha B'Av. So it's the worst time ever in our history, and they say the World War I started on Tisha B'Av. I think they started. How did it start? I don't remember exactly how it started. It started on Tisha B'Av, and World War II was just continuation. I mean, it was a peace for some time, but it was a peace preparation for the war. They knew peace was only temporary, so it was continuation. So all of the bad things happened on that day. So, and this energy, this persecuting energy, is there. So we have to be very, very careful and understand. So not to look for excuses. If somebody is depressed, she can listen to the music, but not to look for any leniencies for ourselves. And read something, listen to the lectures on destruction of the temple for sure. Okay.
Thank you, Rabbi.
Yes, you're welcome.
So, can we say that what Jews did that time that they decided to listen to the lies of the Meraglim, that kind of enhanced this evil power that is sort of like having an impact in the world? Like, did they have certain something to do with it somehow?
They have everything to do with that. So all of the decrees from that they goes from heaven, actually they prepared here in the world. So wherever we send up, it's actually the same decree comes down. You understand? So if they say we're all going to die, we cannot go back, we cannot survive in this desert, stuff like that. We cannot go to the land of Israel. So that's what's the decree. You understand? And it came up to Shemaim and said, "Oh, that's what you want? Okay, no problem. Amen." We say Amen. We say stand. So that's why it's not. If you read the Talmud, for example, so the people would not say some bad things about themselves, right? The word is euphemism, right? So they would euphemism is if my enemy, if something would this and this happened to my enemies. So in the Talmud, the commentary explains. So the guy say if something would happen to me. So is speaking about him, but he does not want to say it out loud, right? Because when person say it out loud, so it might go to the heavenly court, and they might take it literally. So especially, I mean, today people is not as careful, but in olden days people were very careful not to pronounce anything negative about themselves. And sometimes people started speaking about like, they trying to do teshuva, but me personally, I always stop them. Okay, you did whatever you say, but that's enough. You have to stop. Okay, deep inside you did teshuva, but don't say it out loud. Don't create this persecution against yourself. You understand? So that's we have to be very careful, right? And David many times said, "My animals, enemy, my enemy." But the commentary explained, "My enemy," meaning himself. Yeah. So there is for sure. Okay. Any other questions? Any topic before we stop?
So Rabbi, about this thing that you're talking, so you're saying that you're not allowed to say like you don't want to die or something like that because you did something wrong or something like that? Like
Yes.
Can you explain? Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Well, not even that. You know, the person said, I almost had a heart attack. The guy left me a message, younger fellow, because he did, I'm not going to repeat what he did, but I deserve this and I deserve that. I say, you know that, just stop it. Stop it with what you deserve. You deserve, your job is to do teshuva, remind yourself what you did, and don't say it out loud. You understand? Don't bring the judgment with your mouth upon yourself. Of course, don't say you die. Don't say this. Don't say punishments about this. Okay, I deserve it. Stop it. Stop it then. Okay, so try not to be such a big tzaddik, and I explained to him. Of course, I have to shake people up a little, right? So I explained to him. So that's not helping the case. So all of these phrases, that's very good. But if you do teshuva, even quietly, it would be even better. You know, understand? Just stop this sin. Stop. Don't say I deserve this and deserve that. So if you just know in your mind, that's enough. Especially like out loud, especially recording. Of course, I deleted the recording. I don't want to have this file against this guy on my phone. Right? I don't want to be the one that persecutors are going to come for his file. But that's a general thing. Yes, we don't say bad things about us. Don't say bad things about our close ones. But bad people, we all should try not to say if it's not so necessary. Right? Because if a judgment comes, they say, okay, this guy, this girl is a witness. So, okay, he's a witness, she's a witness. Let's check if this witness actually, if he's reliable. Okay, so let's open his file, her file. Then they open our files and say, whoa, you know what? Before this guy, for what this person spoke about, for sure he deserves punishment for sure. Yeah, whatever he said, even he does not know 3%. But this guy, the witness that he spoke about, that person also not so clean. In different area, different sins. But so we're trying to be very careful with our speech. Okay. Good questions. Any other questions before I stop?
What?
Yes, go ahead.
So, according to this week's parasha, a father is allowed to nullify a vow that his little daughter made. Why doesn't it apply to male children as well?
No, what's up? She's not little. No, 1 second. Let's go back. She's not little. If a child has no validity whatsoever. So we said that she's actually Nara. She's actually not. So she's actually 12 years old, but she's still in her father's house. I think I did not get to the parsha yet, if I remember correctly. So it's between 12 and 12 and a half. If she does that, right, and she's still in the father's house, so he has a power to nullify it, even though in some sense she's adult, but it's this 6 months in this 6 months period. So if children, whatever say, their words have no significance. They cannot testify in court. I mean, nothing. In some things we do rely on children, but it's like only minority of the thing. Not very important. For example, somebody asked us before about Halachah Israel, right? So Halachah Israel. So if child 9-year-old boy, for example, was in the premises when they milk cows, so we can say that this milk is Halachah Israel. Why? Because since he's 9 years old or older, of course, but before bar mitzvah, he's more mature, right? And this non-Jew would be scared to mix something into the milk. Okay, but otherwise, whatever they say, it's like have no validity. You understand? So it's only, but for a boy, that's it. He's 13. Father has no authority, right? He cannot decide, but father can decide some things for a girl, right? And for example, he can marry her off when she's little, right? Marry her off, not marry. It's not marriage, but sell her as a maid servant to a Jew, right? Who said, okay, let her work in my house for a few years. And then when she's more mature, I marry her, or my son is going to marry her, and that's it. So father has this authority to sell this girl, and then he can nullify whatever she said. But when she comes into maturity, this girl, she's 12 years old, and she said, you know what, I don't want to be married to this guy if he did not marry her officially until that time, so she can just walk out. That's it. Everything is nullified. Okay. Any other questions? Okay, no problem. So, no questions? Stop here? All right. No problem. Thanks. So, thank you very much. I want to wish everybody good Shabbos. It was a very productive week. We did extra every day. Baruch HaShem. Good questions. Keep preparing the questions, any topic. So other people also benefit. And we then, when we cut this lecture, we actually cut the questions also and put post them separately. And somebody sent me one of our questions was from one of the clip. I was surprised on one of the search engines. It was on the top. Okay, Baruch Hashem. So because of these questions. All right, thank you very much. Good night, and until Monday. Baruch Hashem. Thank you.